Laden Valley, Newport's own, Rhode Island's own. I guess let's start with introductions for anybody who doesn't know who you are, which it would be shocking at this point, right?
I don't know.
Start with him. He's like the guy.
I'm Evan. I write songs with Dave, and it kind of was a project I started in 2018.
I'm Dave. I'm the right-hand man.
And I'm Elizabeth, and I'm not really in the band, but I play violin with the band, so I get the best of both worlds.
That's kind of the optimal place to be, right? You just like get to play the Newport Folk Fest and like do all the fun stuff, but you're not like responsible for figuring out practice schedules or whatever.
Yeah, that's all.
That
That falls
is
on
true.
these guys. That's true.
That's
I show
actually
up.
true.
Yeah.
No, I mean, like, the band itself is something I started to be able to make music with my friends. And so when we had the chance to have Liz start playing with us, it was like perfectly in line with that idea of just like always having friends that can come and like, you know, use their talents to like elevate the music. So she did come in at a perfect time. She played her first show with us in December, and her second show is main stage at Newport Folk Fest. So
Not a bad run, but in all honesty, like that's kind of it's a modern way of thinking as well. It's not like, all right, this is the drummer, this is like the lineup, we're gonna like live in this van together for the next 30 years, or else, you know, the whole thing is gonna collapse. It's kind of a modern way of thinking. It's flexible and it meets the moment, if that makes sense.
I think it keeps it just more manageable. You have less people calling the shots and coming up with ideas, and it's kind of just between Evan and I to figure everything out. And we have a really good workflow between us as friends and as bandmates, so it's been really great so far.
I want to talk about the set for sure because it was really magical. You were basically the first performer of the entire festival. There were a few things going on, certainly on the main stage or the fourth stage, if you will. But what's it like right now to be a band from Newport? I know from our experience, and it was this incredible mecca for a moment. It feels like it shifted, yet you're here and you're doing it. What's going on right now?
I mean, it was interesting because like when we first got the email, we were going to be on the foundation stage, and it was going to kind of be a smaller moment, even though we really like the intimacy of that stage. We're like, okay, cool. Like that's where we kind of feel like we should be, I guess. And then a week later, they were like, change of plans. How do you guys feel about playing the main stage? And it sort of changed the whole concept of how we would approach it. And since we've gotten here and been on the grounds and played our set, like even though we're from Newport and this is our backyard, like it feels like we are like genuine artists at the festival who like would have been here regardless of where we were from, the way that we've been treated. And so that's been really special. Like you hear a lot about how Folk Fest is so amazing with its artists and how they build you up and just make you feel really special. And so as a fan of the festival, it felt really cool to find that that was true.
Yeah, that's really interesting. What about like Newport, the municipality, making music here? What's that like right now?
Well, I think you know, but my answer is that there is not a whole lot happening necessarily in Newport, but I'm sensing maybe a shift in that. I mean, there has been an ebb and flow in the town with like at times there are a lot of bands, a lot of songwriters, and more of a community. But after COVID, it's been like interesting seeing who's still making music. And, you know, we saw Mallory Day walking around and we were like, oh, are you back in Newport? We thought you were living in Mexico and we're doing that whole thing. And she was like, no, I'm back. And like, I have an album coming out and I'm here in Newport. And so it's like, maybe the tide is swinging back up for people like us and you to have more of a community scene in town.
I hope so. I miss it. I think a lot of people miss it. We had an event last night down at Iris that was like all local bands, and it was full. And people were like, wow, this is an energy that has been absent. Yet you guys being on the main stage of the folk festival, it's the lamest expression of all time at this point, but the rising tide lifts all boats. I guess, is that the right way to say it? Whatever.
Totally.
But there's something about disassociating local with second tier. You know what I mean? And you guys were able to do that this weekend. Take us through the festival from start to finish, if you can. Just like walking out on that stage, and as a municipal Newport person, walking onto the festival Newport and into that moment. Did your life change? What was that like?
Well, I feel like it was a funny morning for us. Evan and I woke up really early. We drove down to Empire and got some coffee and got some food. We came to the fort. I think we were the first people here, first artists here by 2 hours easily. We were here at 7 in the morning, and we spent some time together just walking around the grounds, which we've spent so much time at in the past. And it was just this really relaxing feeling being here, kind of getting our stuff situated, looking at all these stages and just seeing all the production and everything happening in the morning. Once everybody else showed up and we kind of got in the zone, we were all huddled backstage, kind of getting ready to go up there, and Jay Sweet came and gave us a little bit of a pep talk, and it was this really solid feeling, and it just felt really comfortable, and we felt like we belonged and we felt welcomed. And he introduced us to the crowd, and when we got up there, we all felt like we were at home. It was the most comfortable stage that I've ever played in my entire life, and it was just an amazing experience.
Were you comfy?
I was so comfy. And like, I think just to speak on the entire festival itself, like I can relate this to swimming, where I was so dialed into the swimming world for my life. Like that was my community. And although this music world isn't my community, maybe not yet, I walked in here like a complete imposter. Like I really don't feel like I belong here, but everybody makes you feel like you belong. And all the artists that I've interacted with, they're like, yeah, like Bob Dylan has played this stage, Joni Mitchell, like all these amazing people, but like we are also here for a reason. And it's not by chance, you know, like especially these two, like they earned it. I'm just like the biggest supporter. I was like one of their first fans. So the fact that I get to have the privilege and opportunity for them to be like, hey Liz, do you want to play violin with us at Folk Fest? It's like, oh my God. Like, yeah.
I want to just add a side note in a generational sense. Liz's late father, he passed away like a year and a half or 2 years ago, and he saw Dylan go electric at Newport Folk. And when Liz told us that, it was like this really crazy full circle feeling of like, this is one of the oldest festivals, music festivals in the country, and there's so much history. And her dad saw Dylan go electric, and now she's playing on the stage here. And it's just kind of interesting to see how the history runs a through line through your band, through the festival, through all the people involved. That just keeps going.
Yeah, now you're etched into the stars forever.
I hope so.
I think there's no way out of it. Once you play, you did it.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if there even is a history of Newport Folk like thick book of like, all right, let's go through every single person. Yeah, thank you. Wordsmith right here, obviously. Has there ever been, to your knowledge, anybody who's an Olympic medalist that has played Newport Folk, or are you the first person to accomplish both of these tasks?
I mean, I don't want to say that I am. We need a fact check, obviously, but I'm probably the only one here. Yeah, somebody. I do. I'm probably the only one here like this year.
Definitely.
I
I was gonna say ever, unless like Pete Seeger was like a sneaky athlete. Like I don't think anybody has ever done it. Kind of funny part about her being such like a dialed-in athlete is that one other show that we played with Liz, I came into the green room like 5 minutes before, and she was sitting in utter silence, just staring at the wall, and I was like, "Holy shit! This is what you do. You get focused and ready to perform." And I was like, had a little insight into like what it was when she was about to go win medals a few years ago.
Well, and to add to that story, the first show we played with Liz, we went and got breakfast that morning, and she had about half a bowl of oatmeal, and she really wasn't eating. And I said, "What's wrong? Are you okay?" And she said, "I'm just really nervous, and the last time I did this was right before I won my 2 medals, so I feel like this is a good sign."
I was in Sochi.
Eating oatmeal.
It worked out. I get nervous. Do you guys get nervous?
Not about the performance.
Yeah.
About other logistical things.
Right. That makes
Where's
sense.
my capo or my harmonica?
Yeah.
Or are my strings going to break because of the humidity? All right, you guys made Newport proud. Laden Valley, Newport Folk, pretty amazing. It was a great set. What's up next? Where do you go from here? What's next?
That is a really good question. We are going to debrief on Monday. But I think we want to play more shows with our full band and rock out and have friends come out and play and fill out the picture a little bit. So I think next show is probably going to be standing only, full band, and just a night of having like friends come out and play some songs with us.
All right, well, looking forward to it very much. Congratulations. That was really fun.